this game's got a lot of little nuances to it. Cale Makar, he's leaving nobody alive in these games if we're going that route.
That, the Landy thing is unfortunate, but he hits Nelson and then also MacKinnon in this game.
And also a couple, wild players who did not look too happy after taking that shot. So, I mean, again, nobody left for dead.
Hitman Cale out here for sure. Obviously, the Avs are able to pull it out. It's a 5-game win streak, but this is the first win with Nazem Kadri back in the fold. How is that locker room with his presence in there?
I mean, it's electric. Even some of the new guys who have really had no experience playing with him are like, you can tell the excitement. You can tell just how thrilled everybody is to have him back in that locker room or in that locker room or to be playing with him. It's kind of a surreal experience. Nothing but good things to say about him. And that was one of the worries, I think, coming into the deadline is you've got a guy who's on a really expensive contract, but he's also kind of crawling toward the end of his NHL career, kind of on the older side. So, there's some of that concern that he may not be the same player that he was when he left after the 22 Cup run. And he kind of put that to bed, and everybody in that room could not be more thrilled about it. It seriously, I felt like during his presser, it was hard to take that smile off of his face. Like it was really, he just looked so happy to be back. You look at some of those comments and you think, oh, this guy's super media trained, and Naz really has a way of making you understand like this truly was the only place he wanted to go, and that entire locker room has welcomed him back with open arms, especially after the night he has tonight too. Yeah. He even said, he was like, I really wished I could have put it away. That would have made it chance, just kind of he had the opportunity. He was like, that would have been so cool, and to have the opportunity to do it again. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but you could tell he's thrilled, and so is everybody else.
Mac couldn't get the smile off of his face after that assist from Naz, so it's the feeling is mutual.
Oh gosh, and then you go to look at his face after the shootout, and it's like, okay, Mac's back. It's fine.
Yep. He only knows how to be one way. Expand it beyond Kadri, though. The rest of the new guys. Kulak to Nick Waugh for the game-tying goal. It's a beautiful tip. We're 2 games in. I'm not going to pretend like, oh, this is how it's going to be, but you have to feel pretty good about the Avs trade deadline today, right?
Absolutely. If we're talking about guys who are really showing out, I mean, obviously Nick Blinkenberg's not on the ice, but as far as everybody else who's playing for the Avs, they're making their mark. And that's kind of what Bednar started to expand on a little bit post-game was, obviously they're still learning, and that extends both to Waugh and I think even to Kadri too. Like there's little learning curves. Not every team stays the exact same for the handful of years that, maybe you've been gone, and everybody's got to kind of work either into that for the first time or back into it. And regardless of that, I think they're starting to find their groove and get into that. And Waugh was one of those guys who was like, it makes it really easy when you've got the kind of help that you do next to you. In his post-game scrum. And I think that extends to everybody. And when Kulak's able to step up the way that he was and do maybe a little bit more than what Bednar's kind of expecting, that's really all you can ask for.
Yeah, look, if you're going to get game-tying goals from Nick Waugh, if you're going to get those big type of plays, that's more than I'm asking for, frankly. So yep. I love it. I love that the fit has been immediate for these guys. Love that Bednar likes it. We'll play part of it later in the show, but Bednar presser seemed extensive today, Bailey. What was he going on about?
A lot of it has to do with Kadri and trade deadline and just exactly how good those guys have looked, and how nice it was to have him when they got him too. Like obviously going through visa and immigration and all that, it can take a long time. Look at Victor Olofsson on the other side of it, who, still kind of waiting on that. They were able to get this done quickly for Kadri, and getting him back in that room and talking about the impact that he's had immediately and what kind of impact that these guys can have, talking about the depth that they have now at center. One of the things I love that Bednar touched on was, you've got that 5 center depth on your roster now. Like, how do you deploy that? And what's the idea of, putting Kadri on the wing? He was very blunt in saying that's really just because Gabe is out. That is it. Yeah. And depending on how they use that down the line really is going to depend on, matchups and how different teams play and how they can deploy that. And it's that having that flexibility in your toolbox is a really dangerous aspect and thing to have on your team. And that's really the main kind of nail on the head type topic that he touched on, which is, you get on that trade deadline and you become better as a team.
What an absurd sentiment of how are you going to deploy your 5 center lineup when most NHL teams are scrapping for 4? And you're like, I mean, if you wanted to lie about it, you've got Zakhar Bardakov and Parker Kelly down there as like 6th and 7th centers. Right. You're just like, okay,
this is some
cool.
Team Canada level center stuff. Yeah.
Right. Do you now have as many centers as you do defensemen that you could just roll out there and be like, yeah, sure, we got this. This is fine.
And I love that Bednar is so calm after that comment too. He's like, it depends. Like, it's no biggie that we have all of these guys at our disposal. We have all of these guys we can use. Bednar is like the most nonchalant about it. It's great.
And -2 on special teams tonight, Bailey, for the Avs. It is only one game. How do they stop it from becoming the disaster that special teams was before the Olympic break?
I wish I had a clear-cut answer for this, but it comes down to look at what went right. Look at what went wrong. And that doesn't have to just be for this game too. Obviously, there are some things that worked really well in the last few before this. And like that's the simple answer for me, I guess. I mean, we've been trying to answer this question for months now.
62 games.
Right. So not falling back into that hole really comes down to not falling into that stubborn streak. You know what works. Being able to have that fluidity between Mac and Natchez on that left side, I mean, it's really helpful. And even on that right side, they started to create some interesting things too. Really comes down to that shot volume and making sure you're staying as fluid as possible. Like that's the only answer I really have. Look at how that was deployed in the last couple games. This one's maybe throw most of it in the trash, but there's some good to come out of it. I think it doesn't help that you've got Cale maybe becoming a little weary after the first period too, not willing to put as much on net, but it really comes down to that stubborn streak and eliminating that period, point blank.
Toyota chat saying number one answer is don't play against Jesper Wallstedt. Do you have a better power play?
This is true. I mean, Wallstedt, it's a comment I made on Twitter earlier in the game too. I think it was around the second period. I'm like, have yourself a game.
Yeah,
good.
He was lights
out. If you're looking at it, I mean, he got the 3rd star in Arena today, and there is a very, very good reason for that. I mean, played lights out. This game is a whole different game if Wallstedt is not standing on his head the way that he is for most of it.
So the power play side negative, the positive side, the Avs look competent in overtime in a shootout. What's changed there?
I wish I had a solid answer for that. Nuke has been a big surprise recently. And I say most recently, being that, maybe him kind of finding that groove in Dallas is the secret sauce there. I genuinely have no other thought outside of that. I mean, he's been lights out for this team, and to kind of find that spark. Martin Netchez, I feel like, has always had a decent streak on the shootout. He didn't find that today, but to find that in Dallas has been really nice. I don't know. Like, there's sometimes you're on it, sometimes you're not. I don't know. Things have been going so well for them post break that I'm just willing to give it to the upward trend of just how things are looking. You get a decent looking power play. The penalty kill starts to kind of mellow out a little bit, but things are starting to work for this team. You find chemistry, little grooves. You find maybe guys finding the net a little bit easier, finding, spending more time touching the puck before games, after games, during practice. Like that's ultimately, I think what it comes down to is you're trending upwards, and the shootout's just kind of something going along there. I love that he's found his groove with that.
It's been a good run post-Olympic break here. The Avs have won 5 straight again, so official wagon status for the third or fourth time this season. I don't have a ton of other notes here, Bailey. Do you anything you want to add on this one?
I think just for me, all these matchup against divisional opponents, the Avs deserve a little bit of a break. Coming up here too soon against some of their opponents, that it's been rough. But honestly, finding this streak with the way they've been able to win, been able to grind it out, hockey's fun to watch right now. Key
No
phrase
kidding.
being right now. So yeah, it's been awesome to watch.
Enjoyable one, even if there are frustrating points. Bailey, thank you for calling in. We're going to let you go. I'll do our winner's shot while you're not looking, so you're not jealous.
Oh, no. I'll do mine when we get home. It'll be fine.
There we go. Count it. Count it on the board. That was Bailey Curtis on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. Go follow her on Twitter, Bailey Curtis with 2 Y's in Bailey. Always tweeting out the good stuff for us from the arena.